Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Tweet going around about people choosing their, if they could only choose one of their restaurant bread of choice?
Ooh. The answer is clear, right?
Is it?
Yes. I thought of it immediately.
What is it?
It's the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, that's what I was thinking.
Obviously.
But, when you see them all stacked next to each other, the thing is, I just love bread.
Right. Also, fuck this question, because why? This is not a situation I have to follow in my life.
Why do you have to pit queens against each other? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
It just, fucking hurts my heart. You know what I mean?
Just, stresses me out. I don't want to pick between my favorite children.
It just, it feels... It just puts me back in that place of the fucking multiplication tables. Why do I have to choose, you know? Why do I have to choose between the Outback bread and the Olive Garden bread? When the answer is just I fucking love bread.
Yeah, that's true.
The only answer, if it was which one do I have to get rid of forever, then the answer is the breadsticks from Breadsticks in the Glee universe, because that's not bread.
Right.
That's not, in my Italian that's not bread.
Yeah.
That's not bread. Anyways, that's just been how Sue sees it.
That is how Sue sees it.
Hey, welcome into Twilight. It's April Fool's Day, fuckers.
Whoa. You all just got pranked. Glee never existed, actually. It was all a figment of our imaginations. We're in a time loop.
That would be a better world. There's an alternate universe out there without a Will Schuester, and it's a better world.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's fucked up?
Yeah, what's up? This
is officially 365 episodes, so you now have an episode to listen to for every day of the year.
Fuck me. Holy shit. That's bananas.
I know.
Yeah, if anyone wants to do a fun challenge for the next calendar year of your life.
Yeah.
Just listen to one every single day. You'll get there. You'll get
there.
Yeah. Then you will be behind by the time you finish, but it'll be a cool accomplishment that you did, you know?
Yeah. Yep. You'll have all vampires all day.
Yeah.
It hurt me writing that in our notes today.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome into Twilight.
Hey.
How y'all doing? How you doing?
Hey, I'm out here. I'm living La Vida Loca. You know how I do.
Damn. That's weird.
I want to... Yeah, hey, I'm out here. I want to talk about a television program. Are we surprised? No.
No, but I am seated and I'm ready.
Thank you. And this is... I admit, I am late to this program. So much so that I'm did we actually talk about this as a happy thing at one point? I don't know. Who knows? Time is ephemeral. But now that I have watched this show, it's real now. So I get to talk about it.
Good.
Because it exists to me. And that is Girls 5 Ever. Okay? Okay?
Yeah.
I was a little hesitant. And I avoided it for a very long time. Because first it was a Peacock original. And I was I don't know. And Peacock also did not care about it. And did not promote it. So I was even though the cast stacked, right? Everything about it. I would be of course. A Tina Fey production that also has... Busy Phillips and Sarah Bareilles and so many other. Yeah, yes, dude, yes. And of course Renee Elise Goldsberry, who is my wife. Yeah.
What?
And Paul Pell, who is amazing. So I don't know why I was so apprehensive. I was this is gonna be a weird music show that I'm not really gonna vibe with. But no, it's perfect. It's the perfect show. It's so good.
Okay, wait. So I've heard good things about this. Is it going to be like that Fox show that was about theater that we love that's going to get canceled.
Oh, the dancing one?
Yeah.
It is. So here's the thing. It's a little murky because it did get originally canceled by Peacock after 2 seasons. But then Netflix was like, oh, what if I take it? And so the 3rd season just came out like 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of back in the consciousness, and now all of it is on Netflix. The ending of that did feel like it was a solid conclusion.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if people want there to be another season or if people are talking about it. To me, it felt like a natural end of the story.
At least there's closure.
Yeah, there's definitely closure, but I would not say no to 500 more episodes of this program because it is so fucking good.
Okay. All right, go on.
90s pop girl group coming back after having a one-hit wonder because they get sampled by like a rapper and people are talking about them again. It's like, what if we, as, people in our 40s, try to be a pop group again?
Oh no.
And do it our rules, our way, and figure it out. And it's very endearing. And like everyone has their own lives, so it's like people coming back together, but also like how teenage stardom, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, like fucks people up.
Right.
And don't talk about it. But it's very goofy. The songs are incredibly silly. Obviously, Sarah Bareilles and Renee Goldsberry are like phenomenal
just
singers.
Lungs for days. God damn.
Just lungs for days. And I'm very surprised at how long it took me to get here, but also how wonderful. Everyone was right about it. Everyone was like, who were writing for it like 4 years ago when like 12 people were watching it. We're right. They were right. It's a great show.
That's beautiful. I'm very excited now. I don't know that I knew the cast. I think I just knew the log line. If I had known that it was Sarah and Renee, I would have ran. So this is very important news for me.
That is my truth. How are you doing? You have a very suspicious photo here.
I didn't mean to, but I didn't know what else to put as as a representation.
It's very descriptive, I guess, but I am a little.
Thank you.
I do have some question marks for sure.
As you should. So I really thought about bringing Cowboy Carter today.
Sure.
But I don't have eloquent thoughts for it.
Yeah, it's still a little early. We're still processing. We're still getting in there.
The only thing that I would be able to say right now is just like screaming,
Yeah,
and that's not valuable for
it's
me.
Not coherent.
But I just want you all to know that like that is I got it. You know what I mean? Like I'm here.
Yeah.
The thing that has preoccupied a lot of my time right now is very adjacent to my interests of like gashapons.
Okay. Sure.
And also the dopamine that I get of getting supplies for a new hobby.
Ooh.
But not actually doing the hobby. That's far less enjoyable for me than like, ooh, I gotta get stuff for things.
Yeah.
I gotta collect the things. So the thing that has brought me a lot of joy this week is this creator on TikTok called Bottom of the Bin. She has a business that is specifically about selling secondhand supplies, like craft supplies. So if you, like many like ADHD folks that I know, so like myself, who's like, oh, I want to get into knitting or whatever the fuck, and then you try it for a week and you're like, no, you can like sell it to her, or she'll buy it from you and then she'll sell it because like you've used it once or whatever, so it's a really good way to make sure that it gets to someone who will use it. So that's fine. What is far more interesting to me about her and what's kept my attention this week is that she just very recently got the collection of this 80-year-old woman's entire craft supply. So like 50, 60 plus years of craft supply, like her whole house worth of craft supplies. And she is each video going through it a box at a time. And this woman who is not dead. She just had to like sell all the stuff because she moved in with her daughter, whatever. It's not a sad story per se. All of her crafts are meticulously organized.
Okay.
And it feels a lot like a haul video from 2013, but it's all craft supplies. Because the way that she's like going through all of these boxes, you never know what it's going to be. But she goes through, you know, like these huge, I don't know, like Costco size storage boxes. And it's like, here's all these crafting flowers. And then here's all these like Sharpies that are from, you know, 40 years ago, but still work. And they're all like immensely organized. And this woman is just like unboxing them so that she can figure out how to store and then sell this stuff. And people in the comments are like, you don't know how long I've been looking for this thing that you just touched. Like, this thing is priceless.
Huh.
Like, this woman has had this stuff that like no one has been able to find, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
She is I've looked through like 10 of her videos so far. She's gotten through like 10 of these boxes. What I'm gathering is that this woman had a Joann's in her house, like had a Michael's in her house, and must have just been gathering supplies her whole life.
Yeah, just collecting.
Yeah.
That's
and just
so wild.
It is so fascinating to learn about this woman through her things, and she was really like archiving this stuff. And it is like weirdly satisfying to watch all of this stuff and not consume it, but just like learn about it per se. So it's I highly recommend it, even if you're not necessarily a crafting person. I'm not, but it's just like wild. So it has brought me a lot of joy, and it is something where I know all this stuff is going to go to a good home.
Yeah.
And what could have happened is it could have just gotten like trashed.
Yeah.
In a worst case scenario, which is something that also makes me happy, is to know that like it's all going to go to people who love to do this stuff, which
that's so wild. Imagine that's just like kind of when you're like going through like storage units and stuff. It's like, oh, here's all these like dusty but Pokemon cards that are like have never been touched. You know, it's like you've stepped upon a huge treasure trove.
That's what like when I think about those shows on like the History Channel, right, where they go through those like storage wars, right? Like rather than that stuff getting trashed, to be able to have a business, right? And I know that there's like Facebook groups about this stuff, like. Yeah. To know that this stuff is going to people who will actually use it and give it love is beautiful in a way. So I get the appeal of why those things exist. So to know that there's a community for that is great, but there's also something kind of like, I'll call it what it is. Like, it's voyeuristic, right? Like, you're kind of just like peering into someone's stuff. Which is kind of what the joy of like a gashapon or a mystery box is, right? Like, you never know what you're gonna see, which is cool.
Yeah. Wow. What a fun little treat.
I know. So if you just want something to put on that's like, I don't know, interesting, highly recommend it. Super interesting. Wow. My For You page knew what was up. I'll tell you that.
Hell yeah.
We have 2 bangers for our current events this week.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this has been a very fruitful week of content.
I know.
For sure.
I know we had to wait a while, but I do think it was worth it. Do you want to start us off with this?
Absolutely. After what seems like an eternity, we have finally gotten the Seth Meyers Goes Day Drinking with Kristen Stewart. And it's beautiful. Everything about it. If you have not watched, I highly recommend it. It's a treat. They get drunk so fast, maybe in record time, based on the other ones that I've seen of this series. And it's truly beautiful. They go places I had no idea they were going to go.
It is, as someone who does not drink, it was nauseating to see the concoctions that Seth was making.
There were some he was doing some nasty work in there. There were some ingredients he was putting in there that I was like, this should be an OSHA violation. What the fuck is happening here?
It should be a UN violation. Like, this is right. This goes against, like, Geneva Convention, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they need to get involved, because what the fuck was going on here? Seth?
He went off cue cards so fast.
Yeah,
and that was entirely his fault because of the alcohol he was consuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I am grateful. We have covered this over the last 8 years. There have been many times where she has been interviewed by people that she's not comfortable with and has had to persist. It's clear that she is comfortable with Seth.
Yeah. And it seems like Seth was having such a good time. Like, I saw him tweet about it a bunch, and I was like, this dude, I think he loves her so much.
I think he loves her.
I think they're destined to be together forever, in a way, you know? And that's beautiful.
And is a lesbian now, which I think is really important.
Right. It's really important, and it's, like, what he needed to be, and I love that. I'm a big fan.
Can I say... So this was hard to watch primarily just because of the alcohol. Like the combinations were rough, and I don't know how they both. I don't know how they got through it. Homeboy, when she dressed him like a lesbian, he just looked like he was from Brooklyn.
Right. But it was beautiful.
But it was beautiful. So that's important. The acting challenge was great.
Yeah, there was some wonderful, and the fact that Case 2 was like, stop cutting me off, I was getting to a good spot, and you're just like,
let me cook.
You're directing me in a bad way. Yeah, let me cook, Seth. Because now I'm gonna lose my mojo. How dare you? I was on a roll here, Seth.
And that's how I know that she's comfortable, is she's able to just be like, she's getting angry, but in a bantering way, which I think is
right. It's like, this is my process. Come on. Let me get in here.
The darts was wild. I also thought it was funny that the safety people were like, actually, only one of you can throw darts at one time.
Yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves over here.
The idea, though, that it seemed like they were shooting from sunup to sunset, because by the time that the video was done, the sun was going down.
Yeah, it was setting, for sure.
They had to pull out different lights.
Yeah.
Which seems exhausting, because the way that they talked about it in the first video a couple weeks ago that we covered, it seemed like they went right from day drinking to that video.
Right.
Which sounds unreal to have to pull.
Yeah. Braver than the Marines, the troops.
Truly.
All of them.
I cannot imagine it, but I'm grateful that this exists, so thank you. Thank you for your service.
So much. Absolutely.
One of the better press interview content that we've had her do as of late.
Yeah, for sure.
Grateful. That is worth noting as an honorable mention. I tried, because I texted you about this. I tried to get through the not skinny but not fat piece.
Yeah.
The like hour-long episode. If y'all, it's not worth your time, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you don't have to.
If you see some of the clips on TikTok, that's fine, but don't do it. It's not good. I don't know if it's the host or maybe it's the team. They have not researched Kristen, so it is not worth your time.
Yeah, it's pretty rough to get through.
They don't know about her Finstas. They don't know about Dylan's Finstas, and that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Come on now.
Be better. Know who you're interviewing. Please and thank you.
Yeah. Seriously.
The thing that I don't know that it necessarily happened in this last week so much as we have gotten the debut since we have recorded last. But we've gotten a debut of the Bibi.
Welcome to the stage. The new Pattinson or Pattindaughter or Pattinchild.
I would be very shocked if if the baby was born in the past week, just because that's a lot.
Sure. Yeah.
But we have seen the baby on a walk, and
Just
I'm very
a little
excited.
stroll.
Just a little stroll.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful, and I think that that's great. So congrats.
Congrats to Rob and Suki. I'm very happy.
I'm very happy. I'm also very happy that when I have seen Rob out and about this past week, he's still masking. So thanks, Rob.
We stand.
If your team could get you some higher quality masks, that'd be dope as fuck.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of, listen, I appreciate the attempt, and that's great. You're doing more than most. However,
you're doing so much more than most.
We're so close to a better, it'll be more comfortable, it'll fit better, it'll be great, you know?
Listen, you're getting there. I'm not going to knock the effort. I just know you have access to better stuff than like 99% of the population.
For sure.
But I'm going to give you a gold star because at this point, anyone,
it's bleak out here,
it's so fucking bleak. So thank you. Because like almost all photos that I see of you out and about, Rob, you're wearing a mask. So thank you.
Hey.
But let's just get a respirator on that beautiful face of yours. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Last week, season 2, episode 3, Bad Moon Rising, we had intervention for Caroline.
Yeah.
We got the same. We got the promposal ring. She can go out in the sun now.
Yeah. She's ready to roll.
She's ready to rock and roll. We unfortunately got more of the Lockwoods, and Mason did Hulk out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's not great. We also did find out that werewolf bites can kill vampires.
So that's fun lore.
That's fun lore.
Now we know.
And then we also did find out that, and Caroline did do a bite on Matt.
Yeah.
And rather
That's
than...
important to know.
That's super important because he's not in this episode. Thank God. But rather than being like, hey, it's super tough for me to be around you, let's break up, she was like, actually, it'd be super dope if you broke up with me.
Right. What if we did that instead? Then I would feel good about the situation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So this week, season 2, episode 4, Memory Lane. How did this episode do you? Super
Listen.
light episode. Super filler episode.
Super light,
right?
not heavy at all, not emotionally weaponizing Cerebrellis or anything, you know, just like a super normal, cool episode. I felt really good about it. Katherine is doing some incredible work here, as per usual.
God damn.
But it's tearing at me, you know, a little bit.
It's, this one, usually, like, at this point, I associate having Jeremy and Bonnie in an episode being painful.
Yes.
It's weird to have it be such a painful episode and the two of them not be in it.
Yeah, nowhere to be found.
Which is rude. On both ends. Like, for both of them not to be in it, and also for it to be such a fucking gut punch.
Yeah.
So what's that about? You know what I mean? I'm also not sure. It's so fucked up. I'm also not sure when the visual team decided it was okay to turn the flashbacks in going from, like, what it has been in the past, from, like, either this, like, sepia tone or just normal, right? Just like a normal, hey, we're gonna be normal now, to, we're looking at this through a ghost body.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be very soft and a little blurry. It's gonna feel a little different here. Season 2, we're doing things differently in the flashbacks. It's not gonna be sepia. It's gonna be this like what even is the word? Like a painting almost. Like
we're looking at this through 2 dirty airplane windows.
Yes, right. Yeah, it's a little smudgy. We got a pretty intense vignette going on, you know? Like, that's the vibe.
It's such a nasty choice for them to do. And they don't have to because they're spending so much money on the costumes and the sets here. So why are you obscuring them so much?
Right. I would like to see those because they're really pretty, actually.
They are. What is that? What's up with that?
Come on now.
I'm confused by the look, and I hate the look, actually.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot going on.
So I'm upset about that, first of all.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening in this episode that's tough to handle. There's what's going on at the Salvatore house, and then what's going on at Elena's house. Where would you like to start? Choose your fighter.
Choose your fighter. I mean, let's get the Lockwood stuff out of the way, shall we? You know, that's like the natural point of entry here.
This is probably a question for the author of the Vampire Diaries. What is the choice for these vampires to be able to sleep and dream?
Right, yeah. Because that comes up a significant amount, and it really does have a wrinkle in, you know, an established vampire lore, I suppose, of that not being a thing.
Because in the Twilight universe, they just use that time for hobbies.
Right, they do their crafts, they do their Sudokus, they're getting some grocery shopping done.
Correct. In the interview with the Vampire universe, they, like an Apple Watch on a charger, they just go into standby mode. Yeah. They meditate. They connect with the source. But in this universe, they just go night-night.
Yeah, they're like, actually, I am a teenager, even though I'm 100 years old, and I do need a little resty poo, you know? And
that logically confuses me.
Right. Yeah, it goes against everything I know about vampires as a concept.
Right, exactly. Because if they are supposed to be, as Edward would say, without a soul. Right. Then what the fuck? They don't have a they don't have a conscience. What the fuck is that supposed to be for?
Yeah, what's going on?
The whole point of you sleeping is that it's supposed to be like recharging your body, which they don't need to do. They're not human. And also it's supposed to help you like process with your brain. You don't need to do that.
Right.
So do you just like to?
That exists. Is it just fun for you?
Is it just fun? Because if that's true, then great.
Yeah. Right. That's fine. You can appreciate it, you know? Right. Maybe napping and sleeping is a hobby to some, you know?
That would honestly explain a lot if Stefan just likes to.
Yeah, it's like it just feels better. It's good for my skin, you know? Feels good for me. It's like a little break.
But that doesn't... It just pisses me off, frankly. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. Because what we understand about Katherine in this is that she's infiltrating his dreams. She's like fucking with them. And so it seems it goes against their nature to be in a vulnerable position like that. Especially because Homeboy doesn't use his fucking spidey senses.
No. Feels like he's limiting a lot of his abilities here. I'm a little confused.
I hate it. I hate it so much, and it makes me mad. And I'm not going to bother reading these to see if like it's explained in the books, and then the writers of the television show have just chosen to
retcon it. Yeah.
So I don't like it. What I found very interesting, one, I love Katherine. I only continue to love Katherine more.
She's so good. I mean, she's evil, but she's very good.
She's not good in the literal sense of good versus evil, but God, she's so good.
God damn.
Everything about her presence this episode of, like, she's just bored and is willingly choosing to
just
be tied
wreak
up.
havoc. Yeah.
It makes me enjoy her character.
Yeah.
A lot. I found it interesting this episode that what she's explaining to Stefan was confirming what she said to Damon of like, it's always been Stefan, what she said a couple episodes ago. I just fully assumed, and this is the disappointing part, is like, I was under a hopeful impression that they were going to keep her just bad. And I wanted that.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that when she had said that, it was a lie.
Right. More like manipulation of his feelings. Because
Exactly.
he still has unresolved feelings. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I was hoping that what she was saying this episode of like confirming that, I was like, ah, damn. Like a part of me didn't want that.
Right.
Just because I like it, I would prefer her better if she was just bad. Mm-hmm. I like her better as a full chaos agent.
Yeah, and like intentionally, especially since Stefan is incredibly easy to fuck with, Damon as well, obviously. Like, it makes sense for her to be like, I'm going to manipulate you to get what I want. Exactly. And she is still doing that to an extent, but also having this undercutting thing of, you know, this is still real for me, is like, you know?
Yeah, it's just
not really
boring.
The vibe. Yeah.
I fully expected that to be part of the game. And so to find out that what she is saying of like, oh, you know, like, I never compelled your love.
Mm-hmm. It was always real.
It was always real. Which, like, girl. And then, like, at the very end, when she goes and, like, kisses his, like, freshly dead body, which, like, Katherine, girl.
Yeah, girly pop.
I mean, I know that, like, you've done some fucked up stuff, but, like, that's a freshly dead body.
Right, like, come on, girl.
It's just, like, that's so, like, you could have anything in this world.
And you're hung up on this guy?
This guy? This guy with a rose tattooed on? Like, I mean, he does in 1864, but, like, he's got that energy, you know?
Right.
And it's just, I want so much more for you. Like, you're such a bad bitch that you're doing this for love. Like, come on. You could have anything, you know? It's just, and I don't agree with her.
Think better for yourself, girl.
No, exactly. Yeah. And I fully agree with Stefan in this moment of, like, him not believing it because what she has done to him is abuse, and that is still true. That is, like, both and.
Yeah. Right.
But it's just, I think it lessens her character's power to have it be manipulation, and also for her to think that it's love, too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Just lean into her being bad.
Right. We love it. I don't need to sympathize for her.
And I don't
I get
want
why I don't want to. I'm here for her to fuck up their lives a little bit. They kind of need it. A little shake in the pants, you know?
They need to be on guard more.
Yes, they need to pay attention to their surroundings.
They haven't learned anything.
No. It's very frustrating.
God, they're not on guard enough, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm still not entirely sure about what her motives are. Like, it seems like they're trying to say that Katherine has come back for Stefan. I'm choosing not to believe that that's true. Mm-hmm. But it also seems like she's here because of the Lockwoods.
Yeah.
Given that she's the one who originally gave George Michael the the stone.
Yes. The titular stone.
Yeah. Which, like, how does she... I don't know. I think that's... I'm going to need a little bit more information about that, actually.
For sure.
Which we didn't... We did get some new lore in the flashbacks, which I'm glad that they're kind of giving it a little by little, because I don't think that we knew until this episode that the Salvatores had taken Katherine in.
Right, yeah, that was definitely new information to me.
Because we knew prior to this that she had come into this town having, like, lost, again, that's in quote, like, lost her family. But that was new here.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. Can we also talk about that flashback in 1864 for a second?
Yes, absolutely.
It's very important to me always in these flashbacks to call out the racism. Ian in the flashback looked hot as fuck with his curls.
Yeah,
but
that was fucked up. That was sick and twisted.
It was so nasty. He was so hot and he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But Damon, in that scene specifically, they were at like a ball or whatever, was congratulating George, Michael Lockwood, for, and I quote here, bravely defending the South. My guy, were you or were you not the one who, like, defected from the Confederate Army?
Yeah, come on now.
Was this flashback supposedly, like, before you did that?
Like, what?
What was he defending?
What's the situation? What were you? Yeah, what honor is? What were you defending?
What were you defending,
sir? Hey,
just like me and that goose. Like, what were you defending?
Right.
Sir?
Really acting with the microphone, like, hey, excuse me. One quick question.
He's like, what the fuck's a microphone? Just witch.
Burn at the stake.
No, literally. So we get just a little bit more lore. Apparently, there are some werewolves outside of the Lockwoods.
Yeah,
but
they
not
do
many.
Exist. They're not the only party, werewolf party.
But apparently not many.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I also think it is important that the moments where Stefan in the present day is trying to like interrogate Katherine, it reminds me of a couple episodes ago when he like really had that dog in him.
Yes, he's back. He's amazing.
Stefan, and I think that this has always been true. Stefan is always the one for me who has more of a dark side than Damon.
Yeah.
Like, I always joke that he is like the little like innocent soft boy, but he guards
the virginal Edward Cullen type.
Yeah. He just pushes that dark side of him down so much that when it's like a geyser. Like, as soon as a part of it lets loose, like, he has no control over it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
whereas
for sure.
Damon, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, does he
He's
have
very
balance?
Consistently the type of guy.
I don't think Damon does a good job with his balance, but he doesn't hide it at all.
Yes, right.
And there were moments with this where Paul was, like, really trying to make that clear, which I thought was a good choice.
Oh, yeah.
Also, how did you feel about this? Because we haven't talked about it in a while. That Paul and Nina have more chemistry as Stefan and Katherine.
It's pretty bananas.
It's
which,
palpable.
like, makes me... Yeah, and, like, it makes me believe in the... Even though I don't like the take of Katherine genuinely being besmirched and infatuated in a genuine way. But there really is something there that's pretty wild. Even, like, going through, like, that first kind of dream sequence of, like, this and that, and, like, seeping in and swooping. Each one is, like, very good. And you can clearly see, like, even through that kind of montage of how different it feels, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like even the what was it? There was a moment, yeah, of just like the, hey, you know, you gotta break up with Elena. Like, this is, you know, if you don't, I'll fucking kill you and then kill everyone. You know, it's Jover. It's like, damn, there's some reasonable heat here, which is wild given the actual chemistry between Steph and Elena. It's like, what? Where did that go? Where did this come from? Who is this?
It felt clear, too, in the flashbacks that and I think that this is because the fact that Katherine in the present was conveying this to Stefan, right? But,
yeah,
like,
right.
that Katherine, like, had an ick towards Damon.
Yeah, a very sizable ick.
Which we have not seen before.
Because it was always assumed, like, oh, they were both deep in my heart, you know?
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. But it was like, no, it actually for sure was never ever Damon, because he gave me a serious bad vibes. I was not into it.
It is... that is something that I am grateful for with how they're kind of dishing out these flashbacks, is that we are getting to see these different sides of similar stories.
Yes.
Which I do like.
And like how the perception changes, the actual reality of what happened, or the events, I guess.
It doesn't feel repetitive to me at all, because of the fact that the flashbacks really depend on who's telling them, which I am grateful for.
Oh yeah,
I love it, and I did not expect to. I would just like the airplane window of it all to change so I can visually see it a little bit better.
Right, yeah, just so I can really get my teeth in on what is visually happening in front of me. That'd be great.
Exactly. I am glad that we did get a little bit more insight into what Jenna has been up to. That apparently over, like, seemingly the last couple episodes, she's just been really busy planning. They said a barbecue party, but this was really just a hang.
Right. It didn't seem like it was taking out 2 weeks, 3 weeks of her time to not be at home, or knowing where her, you know, children by proxy are. Like,
right.
What?
It was described as being a barbecue party with her high school friends, but it was really just Pictionary with a couple of people.
Right, yeah, like they had s'mores and someone brought like a box of wine, you know, it wasn't like you need to be out of commission of your life and the lives of the people who depend on you for this amount of time. But okay, sure. Sure.
Girl.
You're pissing me off.
You're really pissing me off. I will say that this is the first time that I haven't minded Mason being around.
Yeah, Mason was kind of giving a little bit, just the smallest amount, enough to not make me, like, viscerally angry, which is good.
It was also the first time I've paid attention to him enough to notice that he has a little bit of a gap between his front teeth. Yeah. And that is, unfortunately, my weakness.
It's cute. You can't deny it. I love to, like, Damon and Mason sort of interaction.
Damon, this fucking guy is supposedly, the sheriff thinks that he's the biggest investigator, like the best sleuth around. Homeboy is he's the worst sleuth I've ever seen.
He sucks so bad, and it's honestly comical. And it, like, makes sense because also everyone involved that is trying to hunt supernatural creatures in this town is comically bad at it. And so the fact that Damon is somehow the most competent in their eyes is pretty funny, because it really reflects on how bad the general knowledge gap is here. Yeah. Which is great. But Damon is, like, staking out Mason and being like, haha, I got you because I have a silver knife. And he's like, motherfucker, that is a myth, okay? That is not, like, real life. This is
a myth that y'all made. Vampires made that up.
Right, like, you just, like, made your own revisionist history and applied it onto me. That's not how any of this works, buddy. Maybe if you asked a question, maybe you thought to learn anything about me and my people. you know, we could maybe have a better understanding. But no, you just, like, assume you know everything, Mr. Vampire Boy. Get out of here. It's like, okay, fucking grill his ass, you know?
And, like, every time he says something that's, like, werewolf adjacent, he looks to a fictional camera.
Yeah. Right.
It's so embarrassing. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I did think that it was rude that Mason grabbed the pie with his hands, because who does that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have manners. I don't like it. It's not great. I don't like it. But listen, they did survive. They survived this, and I'm saying party in quotes, because it wasn't a party. It was just a group of friends that got together and played Pictionary. Yeah. And thankfully, Damon didn't kill Mason in the street. So that's nice.
Hey, you know, gotta get a little less blood on our hands, people, you know?
Right. How did Caroline feel for you this episode?
Oh my gosh. Caroline is so, I mean, not back in a positive way. Back, she's going through it for sure. But she's kind of has this, like, you know, this mortal connection with Katherine, obviously, or immortal, I should say. And she is abusing and manipulating the fuck out of her. And it's like, hey, do my bidding for me, girly pop. You're gonna figure this out. And Caroline is just like, hey, so I already did the thing with breaking up, or making my boyfriend break up with me, and I thought that was kind of, like, the way to do it, because it's, like, passive, and you don't, like, hurt anyone's feelings directly, even though you definitely played a part in it. So, like, I don't really want to, like, make Elena be not with Stefan, because, like, I think they're good, and I don't want to, like, fuck them up in that way, or kidnap her, you know, like, that seems like a lot. That seems like a little too much, Katherine, girly. But I will try my best to do it as, like, passive and indiscreet as possible. Just, like, kind of make little suggestions and hints, right? And her being, like, kind of a little more soft-footed around Elena is very interesting, of just being like, hey, you know, like, you know, like, it was kind of rough, and it's gonna be sad, and then you're gonna be, like, really old, and Stefan's gonna be, like, 19 still, and that, like, sucks. So maybe have you thought of that, you know, like, maybe that's just something you should consider, and, like, maybe just do that, you know, maybe just think about that. I'm just, as a suggestion, you know, thinking about it.
She's trying her best to be subtle.
Right.
The problem is
right.
that Caroline, even as a human, was not subtle.
Yeah. No.
So Caroline as a vampire is incredibly not subtle.
Yeah.
Which aligned very well while she was doing a promo for her Ford car.
Yeah. Right.
But it was very obvious, and I think it was very obvious to Elena as well, that this was not her trying to break up with Stefan.
Right.
Like, this was not of her choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, listen, you can wait for your car to get towed. I'm going to go walk to Stefan's house, because he has not showed up to this party, and I'm really worried about him, because usually he texts me back. But have a great time.
You figure out whatever is going on in your brain right now, in your processing of all these situations. I'm just gonna go find my boyfriend.
Exactly. I unfortunately did laugh at this, and I know that you had mentioned it a little bit ago, where Katherine had said to Stefan, like, you need to break up with Elena, or I'm gonna make her watch while I kill everyone that she loves, and then I'm gonna kill her in front of you. And
does that sound cool to you?
And I unfortunately thought, like, damn, Elena doesn't have a very long list of people that she loves that are still alive, so, like...
Jesus.
Well, because that's already started. Like, she's been through a really rough year. Like, vampires have already been doing that work for her. So it'd be kind of quick work, Katherine.
Yeah, it's actually probably not the best plan to emotionally torture her.
Yeah.
Because most of the closest people to her in her life are, in fact, already dead. So...
Yeah, or are, like, not human anymore.
Right.
So you should probably figure something out. Right.
Yeah, it's like you probably got a short list there, Katherine. We should probably think of alternative options here.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry for that. I was very interested how they were going to finally show Elena and Katherine in a shot. And I think that, like, my bar for this is the Parent Trap.
Yeah, totally.
Of, like, I know it's not going to be great because it never is. But is it...
It's going to look a little goofy. Yeah.
It's going to look a little goofy. But am I going to be convinced, like I was with Lindsay Lohan? Like, I thought when I was really young that Lindsay Lohan had a sister.
Right, yeah.
Like a twin sister, specifically. So, like, is it going to work? And this show has had some pretty fucky CGI thus far.
Yeah.
I thought this was okay.
Yeah. I think it worked. Like, it
it
didn't take me super out of it. Like, it was, you know, it wasn't super distracting, I guess.
No. They've done worse, I'll say that.
Yeah. The visual department, yeah, for sure.
They've done worse in this episode. So
yeah, right.
Maybe that's why we got the, like, ghost filter on the flashbacks, is they just had to save their energy for this.
Right, it's like, we gotta make this moment sing, so we gotta just divert all of our resources to this moment.
What did you think about Katherine saying you're asking the wrong questions?
Ooh. So important. I mean, I
feel like that's a very natural response for Elena in that moment.
Yeah.
Of, like...
Right.
Because, of course, she'd be like, why do we look the same? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, that's actually a pretty reasonable question.
Right.
Being like, we are essentially twins, like carbon copies of each other, in a way. What's up with that? And just kind of being like, oh, sweetie, you've got it all wrong. It's like, actually, I feel like that was a good question. So can we lose the stink a little bit and maybe just address something that's a pretty important component of this? But okay.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be a
Fuck
descendant.
my question, I guess.
I'm supposed to be a descendant of you, and yet, like, I'm a literal carbon copy, so what's up with that?
Right.
And
it's like, I'm still taking, like, high school science, but, like, I think that's not really, my understanding of genetics is pretty much, like, that's not really how that works. So
I can't rent a car, but fuck me, I guess, you know?
Right.
I mean, she's not wrong, but also, like, can you give her a fucking second, you know?
Right. Yeah, right. Like, she's got to put all the pieces together, you know? Give her a break.
Damn. Jesus. I didn't hate the fake fight at the end.
Yeah, I did not hate that either. I was into it.
I mean, I knew that Caroline would fall for it. Didn't think Damon would, but okay.
Yeah. It's like, buddy, how about you stop getting tricked in these very obvious ways, my dude. It's getting a little...
It's just so embarrassing, my guy.
It's a little aggressive, and I'm questioning your character and your skills a lot here, so...
I'm worried that he is going to go back to Katherine.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has a strong enough resolve.
Yeah, I think he's too weak still, for sure. Because he's been through it, you know? He's, like, not processing anything, which is not great.
No.
And he is very susceptible and vulnerable to this specific scenario. So I'm not jazzed about where this is headed.
Because, like, Stefan thinks he can kill Katherine. He can't.
Right.
It's very obvious. But I don't think
buddy.
that he would...
Grow up.
Be so real right now.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he would ever do her bidding. Damon...
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. I think that he would go back in a second.
Yeah. Ugh, my boy. My dude.
And that sucks. That sucks so bad.
Yeah.
I still... And what concerns me about learning more of this information about Katherine and how she's connected to George Michael is I'm worried that means we're going to have more about the Lockwoods.
Yeah, they seem much more ingrained into
And
this particular thing, for
sucks
sure.
So bad. Because I don't care. And also, who did Mason kill?
Yeah, what's up with that? Like, what's the...
Because he just, like, dropped that, by the way, that, like, that Tyler's dad didn't know. That seems fake. That can't be true.
Right.
There's just...
It seems like a weird technicality of, like, oh, you know, the only way to trigger it is to kill someone, and then you'll get your true potential. And it's like, hey, buddy, how did we start here? How did you discover that process, right? Like, that's, you know? Seems like
Right.
he said that pretty casually.
You're telling me that Tyler's dad never killed anyone? That...
Right.
I don't believe.
I don't believe that, per se.
I just have I have every episode where we learn something about the werewolves, I leave with more questions than answers, and not in a good way.
No. No.
This lore is pissing me off.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fairly straightforward. Like, werewolf lore is supposed to be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Why are they making it so confusing?
Right. Why am I lost? This is supposed to be the easiest one to grasp.
Right, exactly.
It's like, you get the moon. Good. Done. Easy.
You get the
That's
moon.
the lore.
And, like, on paper, werewolves have the dopest lore. You get the moon. You love the moon. You respect the moon.
You love and respect the moon.
You love her. Why are you making this lore so fucking complicated?
Yeah. I'm fucking confused.
Y'all are pissing me off.
Y'all don't.
You all don't deserve her. I
Yeah,
don't get it.
For real.
I'm a little excited about next week.
Yeah.
So next week's episode is Kill or Be Killed. I think we're finally gonna get to see Damon and Stefan kiss.
I mean, this screen grab is very tender and also horny, you know?
If this is not them kissing, then I don't know what it is.
Like, look at Ian's eyes here. Come on.
I know.
Get out of here.
If they ever let him grow his hair out like it is in the flashbacks, where it's just like a little curly,
Yeah. Unstoppable.
I'm gonna be so weak in the knees.
Yeah.
This is how I imagine Ian's face when he posted that TikTok about Paul.
Fuck,
sent
you're
me.
so right. Yeah. Being like, who's your wood? Sick, man. Sick man.
I just saw an article like a day or two ago where Paul says he talks to Ian every single day.
Every day?
Every day. He said, I try to talk to Nina as much as I can, but Ian, I talk to every day.
Damn, fuck Nina, I guess. Jesus.
And apparently Nina is not in their group chat.
Yeah,
Or
damn.
at least Nina doesn't, like, respond every day. He talks to Ian every day.
I love the implication being like, yeah, I like text her on her birthday, like Christmas sometimes. Maybe if I think of a funny Instagram reel, I'll send it over.
I'll send Nina those, like, really long, like, sex joke things on, like, April Fool's Day. You know, like those nasty ones with the emojis. But
the
Ian,
chain text, yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Ian, every day.
Yeah, it's like we actually have like bro talk every single day, and we talk about every part of our lives every day. And we just like check in, you know, and that's my bro right there. It's like, damn, okay.
They send each other like voice memos every day.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. 100%. That's so funny.
They go like sit on like their lawns in the grass. They like get grounded and like talk to each other.
Oh my goodness.
They do own a business, you know, so like plausibility, but I don't think it's about that. I think it's just that they like talk to each other every day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Gotta love guy love, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey.
We have some amazing patrons.
Absolutely.
Do you want to start us off?
Yes. Thank you to Maya Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ow. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Pew, pew, pew. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Zara.
Ooh. I have a fan fiction that I found for you today.
Ooh. Love this. Love to hear this.
I did not read the author's name before this.
Oh.
Oh no. This is titled The Enemy. It is by the author Aaaaand loves _ Harry Louis.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Fun. Timeless. The summary is how the scene in season 2, episode 4, Memory Lane, after Damon's attempt to kill Mason, should have ended. Damon has made an enemy of Mason, but can they resolve their hatred before it's too late for either Mason or the Salvatore brothers?
Ooh.
This was published in March of 2022, so fairly recently.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And it only has 1 chapter.
Wonderful.
Think of it as a get-out-of-jail-free card, but in your case, you only get 1. I suggest you don't waste it. Wow, Damon Salvatore letting me go. From what I know, you're not very good at that. Damon sighed, deciding to humor him, but instantly intrigued. And why is that? Mason smirked, knowing he had caught Damon's attention unwillingly. Oh, I don't know. Maybe waiting for someone who doesn't even love you for 140 years is a bit much, don't you think? Damon tensed. How the hell did he know about Katherine? Oh, don't look so surprised. What, did you think you and your brother were the only ones Katherine wanted to spend time with? I've been with her for almost a year now. Right, this guy definitely needed to die. Whatever Katherine wanted him for, it wouldn't be good news. Really, what is she using you for? It must be important if she's overlooking the fact that you're a werewolf. She's not using me. She loves me. Oh, sweet Jesus. While Damon had been edging closer towards Mason to rip his head off, this made him abruptly stop. This man was being played, and he didn't even know it. Werewolves really were dumb creatures. For some reason, though, Damon didn't have the heart to murder him anymore. He was just a pawn in Katherine's twisted game. Look, take this from me. Stay away from Katherine, and the only way to do that is stay away from this town. End scene.
Damn. Okay. All right. I'm feeling the juice on that one, for sure.
This convinced me. I think we're gonna get some, like, eclipse, right? Like, I think Mason might be Riley in this.
Okay.
Like, I think he's a pawn.
Yeah.
That convinced, like, I think that might be where this is going.
I feel that, yeah.
And if that's the case, thank you, Aaaaand loves _ Harry Louis.
Yeah.
For your service.
Damn. Yeah, thank you so much.
Not only for that, but, you know, in general.
Sure,
to have people still in the trenches after all these years, you know?
Yeah. It's good work. It's good old-fashioned work.
It's good work. Well, friends, it's never been a better time, both to tell folks about the show now, but you've got an amazing backlog, an episode every day for a year.
Yes,
it's a great time.
We did it.
We truly did it. Well, don't fall for any pranks today. Be suspicious, as always.
Be smart and vigilant. Beware the brands.
Beware the brands, always. And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/IntoTheTwilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.